And the same thing is, last year I started a website called SaveAB.com. Some of you may have signed up on it. It was a website because a buddy of mine and I thought that Anheuser-Busch being taken over by a foreign company would be a problem. It wouldn't be good for our community. It wouldn't be good for our neighbors. We worried about it. And about 2 or 3 days into it, we had about 70 people signed up. It was a little bit embarrassing. I was a little concerned. You know, it looked like a bunch of guys that were worried about beer. And then they announced that the sale might go forward. And you know what happened? 85,000 people put their names on petitions. And they mailed us letters from Guam and Alaska and Hawaii and Vermont. Must be one guy up in Vermont that cares. But and all over the country. And people came to rallies and showed up at my office and called and wrote and everything else. And they wanted someone, they wanted to raise their voices. They wanted leadership to stand up and say, what's happening to us? And you know what? You know the answer. We lost the fight. We lost that fight. But we didn't lose that fight before we gave it our all and we put ourselves out and we took the chance to maybe lose. If you're not willing to lose, then you're not willing to be in the game, and you shouldn't be a congressman. Right. Congressman Carnahan's statement, thanks. Congressman Carnahan's statement at the time was it's an inevitable thing that occurs, that Anheuser-Busch would be purchased by a foreign company. Again, people want a congressman to get in the trenches with them, get shoulder to shoulder, and they know that some things are worth fighting for. Mary Beth Luna mentioned one of the central things that if you have kids, I know many of us do here, you worry about the future. You worry about, first and foremost, government making us safe, keeping us safe. If you watch the missile defense cuts that the Congress has embraced, it has two problems, folks. One, it makes us less safe. Anyone that's serious will tell you it makes us less safe. And two, guess what we have in our area that makes a ton of technologies that relate to missile defense? Boeing, the old McDonnell Douglas, and again, where is our people? Where are our leaders fighting for us and getting out and getting into this and making clear what's going on? The voices of people from St. Genevieve to Clayton and down through St. Louis County and City worrying about jobs, it's incredible. They're worried about their future and worried about their families. And we need to step up and say that this Congress needs to pay attention to where our people are, embrace real opportunities to help, and mostly get out of our way. People ask me all the time at these meetings also, one of the questions that they ask pretty frequently is, you know, why are you running for Congress? Why are you thinking about this? And I remember really well, and I want to take this opportunity to introduce my family. I remember really well a few months ago, probably 4 now, my wife and I are sitting in our house. We have 3 little kids, and my wife is not going to climb the ladder to get up here, but my wife is over here. Her name is Carol, and she's a saint. She's earned her time. And we have 3 little children, 3 children that are Madeline and Edward and Michael, and they're 5 and they're 2.5 and they're 7 or 8 months old. And yeah, right. I'm not sure. I don't sleep enough with them to know how old Michael really is. But we were sitting around our house and we watching TV. The news was probably on. The kids are going crazy, trying to get him to bed and all that going on. And we got into a discussion. And by the time we were done the discussion, we had agreed, my wife and I, that we had to do this. We had to look at this. We had to consider going forward, because the future of our kids and the future of our country is hanging in the balance. It's not just the national security issues, which we mentioned, which are important. It's the spending that's going on. On September 30th of last year, for the first time in American history, we acquired the dubious distinction of $10 trillion in debt. 6 months later, we'd added another trillion. And if we follow the course we're on, we'll add $10 more trillion in debt to our future. We're talking about $21 trillion over the next 10 years. It's unsustainable for our country, and we will do one of two things. We will continue to sell our debt to China. China owns 28% of our debt now, and other foreign countries, a couple of foreign countries coupled in there own a ton too. And we will continue to have this uneasy relationship in the world because of that, or we'll print money and inflation will go up. And so we talked about our children, and we made the decision to go forward and to look for an opportunity to make a difference. Because at the end of the day, this race And this campaign is going to be about getting shoulder to shoulder with you all and with our neighbors and realizing that some things are worth fighting for and some things are worth fighting for now. Our families are worth fighting for. Keeping a country we recognize is worth fighting for. The Constitution, and 5 days ago we celebrated the birthday of the Bill of Rights. Those are worth fighting for. We need to have a Congress that understands where the American people are and who they are and responds. And if they won't listen, we'll continue to raise our voices and we'll continue to come together and we'll build a campaign, and it will be this race and it will be other races for state offices across the country. But we'll make clear that the voices of David MacArthur and Randy MacArthur and Pastor McCoy and Mary Beth Wolf and Ed Martin are joined not by tens, not by hundreds, by thousands and millions of Americans who know what our country is about and what it can be. The other question people ask me when I say, why are you running for Congress? Then they often ask, why would you do this to yourself and your family? They're going to say terrible things, and they're going to be mean and nasty. And Russ Carnahan is a 3-term incumbent who wants to, has an incumbency on his side. Footnote: Speaker Pelosi, you may have heard, is coming to town. She's coming in on Saturday night. Congressman Carnahan is already in need of help, and help is on the way. Speaker Pelosi is coming on Saturday. But